What's going on, my friends? Cubs fan Han here for another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video, and I apologize, my video is a bit late today. Normally I like to get you guys these videos first thing in the morning. I have had the flu, and I'm mustering every ounce of energy that I have to bring this video to you today, so W in the chat for me, making videos and streaming today while I've got the flu. I basically slept all day yesterday, and so I'm actually feeling a bit better today. But anyway, we got to talk about an important subject, my friends, because as we get ready for Galactic Legends to hit, a lot of us free-to-play or low-spender Dolphin players out there are wondering what to do with this and how it's going to be such a long farm, and the decision on who to farm is not very clear, and especially when you're starting right now and it's going to take you a year, you definitely want to make sure you're setting yourself up for success. And so I have realized what I'm going to do, and I want to walk you guys through my thought process as an ex-spender of this game, no longer spending. It's been almost a year now since I made that pledge. And so let's go over my thought process for this. Now, I'm going to go to my Hyperdrive Bundle account to illustrate this point right now. As you look at the characters, something that you really need to consider as you're farming for Galactic Legends is what is going to be happening to you along the way farming these characters, because you're going to embark on this journey, and what is going to be happening to your roster over the next year as you farm for these. I'm estimating a year. I don't know if it's exactly a year, if it's 9 months, if it's 13 months, but it feels insurmountable right now, and so we're gonna say roughly a year to farm these if you're not spending, or if you are a light spender. And so what you really need to look at is what are the characters that are expected of you so far. We're going to assume, by the way, for the purposes of this video, that these 4 units are going to be ships. And so what we're really going to be concerned about are these characters right here and how useful they are, but also, probably most importantly, what's going to happen to your Grand Arena matchmaking. If you're like me, and I think you should be because I think this is the most fun the game has to offer, Grand Arena is where you have a lot of fun in this game. I have all of my fun in Grand Arena in this game. This is what gets my blood flowing. This is what keeps me happy, excited, and amped to play Galaxy of Heroes. Now more than ever, it's amazing how it just keeps getting better for me. I look at every time I go to Grand Arena, I'm super amped to play it. And so when I think about farming for Galactic Legends, what I'm really petrified of is that I'm going to farm for Galactic Legends and in so doing, damage my matchmaking. Now, a great example of this, if you would look at Urzatron. Now, Urza, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit. Not really, because I actually love what Urza's doing over there. But Urza has farmed characters like Tuskens or like Relic 7 Cassian. And that hurts his matchmaking. Now, let's talk about why that hurts matchmaking. And why, if you go in to enter your Grand Arena, if you go hit on this little eye here, it talks about how the matchmaking is sorted. And it says Grand Arena matchmaking is based on the maximum power of the squads or of the units a player is allowed to use based on the number of squads allowed to be deployed in this event. Now, let me translate this for you guys. What this means is the amount of teams that you set and use on offense is what they're basing the matchmaking on. It's not based on your entire roster. And so, for example, this is my this is my Grand Arena for my Hyperdrive Bundle account, so it's a lot smaller. I'm allowed to place 3 squads, 4 total. So let's pretend ships get carved out as their own entity, but let's just pretend it's all characters, right? And so if I've got 4 squads here, and then it will assume that I'm going to use 4 squads here. That's 8 total. That's going to base the matchmaking on my top 40 characters. And so if you look at your roster, you can kind of go in and count to the top 40, and wherever that cutoff is, as soon as a character creeps up into that top 40 in GP, that will affect your matchmaking. And so what you want to be careful of is to only bring characters into that top 40, if you're in this level, that are going to be useful characters. Because if you bring somebody up that is not useful, then you get matched up against somebody who only has 40 useful characters, and your one unuseful character will start to skew the matchmaking. And so the more you bring up characters that are not useful, the more it damages your matchmaking. Let me give you another example. This is my main account. And so this is where it's a little bit different on the main account matchmaking wise. So we'll pull this up while it loads here. I did win my last Grand Arena, by the way, for both of them, which is super exciting. And so here we go. We got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we'll just pretend this is a character territory. Just the ships do get carved out. So that's 8. So that's double. So 16 times 5. That's where I'm figuring that, by the way. So 16 teams, 8 over here, times 5 units per team. That's 80 characters. And so if I go over here and look at my roster, I go to wherever 80 is. As soon as I bring a character into the top 80, it's going to start skewing that matchmaking. That's why for Grand Arena, you really want to have top-heavy rosters. You want to have focused rosters. You can see here, based on the way I've been farming, I am only relicking characters that are super useful, characters that are making a big difference for me. That's why I had no problem farming for gas, because General Skywalker, I got to relic 6 my B1. That's freaking useful. That's going to benefit me in Grand Arena. Very much so. And all these other characters, well, also. So, that brings me to the question. How are you going to decide who to farm? Now, if you look at the end game for Galactic Legends, it will be pretty easy to say, let's farm for Rey. In fact, I've been saying this for quite some time because of Geonosis territory battles. If you look at Rey and Kylo pound for pound, they're probably going to be about the same level of value. And the real only distinguishment that you can make with them is where are they going to be used? And they're going to be used in all the exact same places. Grand Arena, Squad Arena, everywhere else. But for light side and dark side territory battles, you can only use Kylo on the dark side. You can only use Rey on the light side. And light side has a lot more need for those characters right now, right? Because light side is where a lot of that struggle is. I think guilds are doing pretty good with the dark side territory battles. But because it's going to take so long to get there, what you really got to consider is what are the characters that you're farming along the way? And this is where I actually think Rey is not the smart option for the free-to-play and low spenders out there because of what the prereqs are. Now, having a Relic 7 Jedi training Rey, not too bad. Finn, okay. Resistance Trooper, okay. Rey Scavenger, just okay. Resistance Pilot, not good. Poe Dameron, not good. Resistance Hero Finn, pretty good. Haldo, okay, especially with the capital ship, but that one's a little bit harder to get. And then Rose Tico. And so as you relic these characters up, if you are relicking these characters up, you're bringing in 1, maybe 2, not this one, 3, 4, at least 4. You could make an argument for 5 or 6 characters that are not very useful into your top 80. What is that going to do to your matchmaking in Grand Arena? That gives me cause for concern. For me personally, I'm a lot more concerned about what I'm going to be able to do in Grand Arena over the next year while I'm farming for these guys than what I'm going to have in a year from now, because I got to actually play the game for a year. Let's look at Kylo. Kylo's a bit different. Kylo Ren Unmasked, very useful. First Order Stormtrooper, pretty dang useful. Officer, useful. Not great, but useful, especially for that turn meter passing. Kylo Ren, useful. Captain Phasma, probably one of the weaker ones on this list. First Order Executioner, dope. First Order Executioner is a very solid character. Veteran Smuggler Han, it feels like he's not useful, but when you add that resistance tag to him, I think you're actually going to find some pretty dang solid use for Veteran Smuggler Han. Sith Trooper, OP. Sith Trooper's OP. And having him at Relic especially, very solid. And he's versatile. You can use him in your Sith team. You can use him to go against bugs. You can use him in your First Order team. You can use him in a lot of different places. Special Forces TIE Pilot is useful. I'm going to be honest. I'm not super versed in what he can do. We'll need to do a little more studying on that, I think. So out of this, let's say First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot isn't useful. Again, maybe he is. I just don't know a lot about him. But let's say he's not. So there's 1 that you're bringing up. Maybe 2 with Phasma. That's it. 2, maybe 3. And that's I mean, Special Forces TIE Pilot may even be useful. Who knows? So if you're looking pound for pound at which characters you're bringing up into the top of your Grand Arena matchmaking, you're bringing them into the top 80. First Order, to me, seems like the clear-cut choice to farm because it is not going to damage your matchmaking nearly as much. In fact, it may help you along the way to have characters like Sith Trooper, to have characters like First Order Executioner in the Relics, and even Veteran Smuggler Han, which I think is probably going to be pretty solid once we get that resistance tag on him. And so that is why my decision here, ladies and gentlemen, is to farm for the Galactic Legends Kylo so that I can have use with my characters along the way. Let me know what you guys think about my decision down in the comments below. What are you going to do? And how do you feel about my logic for this? Everyone's ultimately going to be making their own decision. I just want to be very methodical and be careful that I'm not screwing myself over for the next year because I want to farm useful characters. Once again, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, my brothers, don't forget